Hello guys, today I'm going to show you how I edit my final illustration and make some color correction, remove the background and save it as a PNG file so I can use it for mockups, for social media graphics, product images and so on. The first thing I do is scan the illustration at a high DPI. Now I'll open two versions of the same illustration in Photoshop to show you the difference between 150 and 1200 DPI. Do you see the noise and the fine lines in the dark areas? I like to scan everything at least 600 dpi and have a huge file to work with at the beginning, because then I save time on trying to remove the noise and improve the quality of the details. Like this file is 80 MB, but once I'm ready and save it, I will reduce its size. Before I remove the background, I like to make some correction of the brightness, contrast and the colors. I'll show you a quick trick to correct the brightness and contrast. Sometimes I use this kind of black and white color chip and scan it together with my illustration. Hit Ctrl L or Command L for Mac to open the levels. Grab the white eyedropper and click on the white chip. Then grab the black eyedropper and click on the black chip. And it will instantly correct your brightness and contrast of the illustration. You can already see the difference between before and now. You can make this chip out of cardstock or any paper that has a smooth surface. You just need to make sure that the black is super rich and the white is as bright and as pure as possible. If it has to go quickly, I use this method, but for some reason I couldn't find a chip today, so I'll skip this step and show you how I do it without the black and white chip. I'll go to Filter, Camera Raw Filter, and this will open a window with a variety of options to correct the brightness, colors, and like literally everything you want. Here you can click on the autocorrect options, but I don't like them, so I like to play around with the basics like highlights, shadows, black and white. And if you want to do more like adjusting levels or colors, just go for the next buttons and play around. So what I like to do is bring down the highlights and the whites a little bit because I think it's overexposed, and just a little bit emphasize the blacks and the shadows. And sometimes I might even bring up the contrast and add a little bit more clarity option. And then I like to hit this little symbol down here to see the before and after version of the illustration, so I can better decide if I need to do more adjustments. I think the colors are okay, and now I'm fine with the brightness. Now I can go on with removing the background, and I'm going to do it by masking it out. First I'll select the figure, and this is the most time-consuming thing in the whole process. But I like to be thorough so I can get the best quality. So instead of using the magic wand, I'll go for the polygonal lasso tool. Just click and click and click, and if you happen to click the wrong direction, simply hit the backspace button to release the point. Okay, now at this point, the hair made me so crazy that I decided to skip it for now and use another way of selecting it later. Now let me show you how I dealt with the hair. I used the same lasso tool and simply draw around the hair like a really rough shape. And then I'll go to the quick selection tool and then choose the subtract from selection option. By simply click and drag around the hair, it will automatically choose the new shape of the selection. It will not be perfect, so I'll have to go a second round around those curls and improve the selection with the lasso tool. But this is like my perfectionism in action, you know. Okay, now the figure is completely selected. I'll go at the bottom right here and hit the layer mask tool, and it will automatically remove the whole background. And now I will create another layer beneath the figure and fill it with a darker color so I can see if the contours need a little bit more adjustment. Select the layer mask thumbnail on the right and use the brush tool to paint with black to conceal things or paint with white to reveal things. And this is my way to refine the edges of the illustration if needed, or reveal some details from the background if they got erased. And from here on you can literally change the background just to any color that you want, or add some other graphic or landscape behind. The figure is completely transparent. And the last and final step is to use the spot healing brush tool and the brush tool itself to remove any mistakes and spots that look funny. Just make sure that the content aware option is clicked. After looking at the illustration as a whole, then I decided that I need to add a little bit more shadows and conceal the edges because they appeared way too bright against the background. So I used the burn tool to darken certain areas of the illustration, and at the very top you can change between whether you want to darken the shadows, the midtones or the highlights. I darkened the midtones and the shadows on certain areas of the coat and used the highlight option to make darker the edges around the figure so that they don't stand out as much against the background. To save the final work, I go to File, Export, Save for Web. I choose the PNG option and make sure that I check the transparency checkbox. And because, as I said at the beginning, the file is way too big and I don't need it as large as it is, I will reduce the size of the image. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that you learned something new. If you have any questions, please comment down below. And I'll see you next time. Bye!